I can see it in your smile. I love you. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening.
Hello.
How are we today? I was just cracking up because my headphone was plastering my hoop earring to my
Mm.
face.
hmm
And then Missy didn't like what'd you just say about your hair?
Well, I have to make sure it's not underneath the headphone footprint, if you will,
Mhm.
because my hair, I just washed it. It was my day this month to wash it. Just
Mhm.
kidding. Just kidding.
It's okay if it's not, if you're
Um,
not.
and so it remains, even though it's dry, technically, it remains very, very impressionable for a couple of hours.
I don't know why that hit real well for
So I didn't want it to be I remove the headphones and then they're still there.
yeah. I
You know
totally
what I
get that.
mean?
Impressionable.
You feel what I'm saying?
I do. I feel it so much that I wanted you to repeat it because it was so descriptive and
So I'm
lovely.
trying to divide here. Okay.
So our over analytical, overthinking brains has led us to Missy needing to clarify a little something that she needs to get off her chest.
So true, Gretchen. Thank you for the reminder.
Mhm.
Okay, so I went on a little bit of a rant about Meghan Markle the other day. Then the state of California burned down, and like I feel really bad. But regardless of the fires, which are terrible, I have to say that I in no way in my criticisms of Meghan was endorsing the behaviors of the crown and the royal family.
Yeah.
I think they're awful as well. So I'm not saying like, how could she do that to them? They're so kind and no, 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 no. No, the queen's a racist. Like we know all of this stuff occurred. My point was she had to have known that beforehand.
Right.
If she didn't see it firsthand, you think Harry wasn't like,
Yeah, you gotta
my
warn
grandma's
yourself.
gonna hate you,
Right.
hate you. A mixed divorcee.
Right. Right.
Buckle up, sister. You know what I mean? Like she knew. That's
Right.
my only point. They're awful. She's awful. Everything. I mean, a lot of stuff's awful.
Yeah.
Not everyone.
Yeah. I get that. I'm glad you got that off your chest.
Thank
That
you.
was a
Thank you. It's really been weighing on me, and I didn't. I needed to speak my truth on that.
yeah. Good. So that kind of does lead us into the LA stuff. Horrendous,
Yeah.
terrible.
She delayed her show because of it.
Who did?
Megan.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
How do you feel about that? On one hand, I'm
delay?
like, yeah, she delayed it because of all the chaos going on with the fires. It's
Mhm.
like, okay, you could have just like still put it out.
It's a great, this just is exactly what I'm talking about. Like the segue that I'm getting at. So Kim K
Mhm.
got ridiculed for putting out a new Skims line.
Yeah.
And then my favorite, Morgan McGraw,
Mm.
Morgan Stewart, she got ridiculed because she's doing this like heartfelt video on TikTok about LA and the fires and the destruction and the scary and the family members and all of this stuff.
Mhm.
And she's doing it with a background filled with Birkins
Yeah.
and Hermes bags.
Right.
And so I took a little toot into the comment section
Mhm.
and people were ripping her apart for that.
Mm.
And it pisses me off. I'm like, this is one girl, and not to say that like celebrities, you know what you're getting, you know you're gonna get the ridicule. I get that. Okay, it's fine. But she's also a mother freaking human. And she's not an emotional person on social media. And she was sharing something very emotional. And like, let her just be. Like, it is when does it stop being the other person's fault for your own insecurities that you don't have 45 Birkin bags?
Right.
Do your own work. Oh man, I'm kind of on a rant right now. This kind of pissed me off.
No, it's true because you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. If you
Right.
don't say anything, everyone's like, why aren't they saying anything about this? Why aren't they
Right.
using their platform for da da da? But then you have to do it in a very specific way or you get backlash from that. And it's just like, you can't do anything right. So I feel the answer is just do what you feel is right.
Right.
And know that there's going to be people that hate on you. And as long as your heart's in the right place and you're trying to help, then like to hell with the rest.
Right. Your truth pillars.
Yeah.
But like, so Morgan, you're telling me that Morgan's supposed to change her motherfucking background to make you comfortable?
Right.
Excuse me, comment section? You can go F yourself.
So
Right
she
off.
owns she owns them. Like she has them.
Right.
So you want her to hide them?
It's
That seems gross.
and it's an art piece. Like they're artwork
Right.
to a lot of people.
Yeah.
I
You're
think to
just
them,
jealous haters.
agreed. And my point of view was like, oh my gosh, Morgan's finally being emotional. And then the other part was like, oh my gosh, those are so beautiful behind her.
Right.
But that also shows that I've done the work, that it's not, I don't come from a jealousy standpoint.
And then you're also like, what's the plan to save the Birkins?
Right.
Just kidding. But not really.
A little bit, a little bit here and
I
there.
hear some people hired private fire squads
Oh my
to
goodness.
defend their homes.
No,
I didn't know that such like I don't care, but like I didn't know that there was like a thing. Like
no, I didn't either. There's no water. So like,
do they show up in like a black suit? Like I don't
and they have their own trucks.
right.
I saw there was a video of Ashton Kutcher putting out like defending his family's home or his neighbor's home or something along those lines. It's crazy. Like if you, I thought that the fire was just like in the hills,
Right.
but it is like the whole place.
Yeah. All the houses on the beach when you drive down PCH into Malibu, gone. And my dad was telling me, he's like, they're not going to let them build anything back there.
It's crazy.
So it's probably just like,
It's like so devastating. So how did, do you know how they started? Like how did the fire start?
all I ever heard was somebody say that it was human started or something. So I don't know if it was arson. Oh, no. It was arson, I believe. I think they arrested somebody.
Oh, really? Good.
Yeah, but like once they start, it's hard to say. Like,
Do you
was
think
there
it's gonna
somebody
get,
else that jumped on that bandwagon?
do you want to know my conspiracy theory?
Sure.
I bet you already know, maybe, but what if
Was it P. Diddy?
right?
We literally had not talked about this. This is just mind melt.
All of his underground tunnels, all of his like he's pissed that he's gonna get busted and he's like, I'll burn LA to the fucking ground. I I I truly do not do conspiracy theories because they will drive me bananas and it will take away my peace. But if I let myself, I can come up with some very interesting.
I mean, it's possible.
I mean, you take three people to, and all the fires started at the same exact time.
Oh, so it was a coordinated effort?
Yeah.
Oh,
And take it for what it's worth. It was on the freaking social media that it shows that. But like if you there's like a time lapse of like when they started burning.
mm.
So, and then talk to me what your thoughts are on like you kind of already did, but so do you think that Meghan and Kim should have continued their show and their launch? Because there's like so many moving parts with launches like this and gajillions of dollars.
Well, I get that they need to protect their investment. And I think the reason why she delayed the show coming out is just because I'm guessing she assumed that viewership would be low
Mhm.
because everybody's dealing with more important stuff.
Right.
So I don't know. I don't know what I would have done. But on the other hand, it's like, well, it's been queued up for this, and there is a huge part of the world and country that have been waiting for this that are not impacted.
Mhm.
I don't know what you do.
It's kind of like a balance of both. I feel like sometimes you need a distraction when there's so much devastation.
Yeah, there's also that.
Like the show must go on. And there was one thing that obviously you guys know that I'm like really very much into sports. And so LA Rams and the Vikings played at
Do
Glendale.
you think that they let them win?
I think that they had momentum because of it for sure. They
Mhm.
all the good juju was on their side. But I think that sometimes sports is a good distraction.
Yeah.
Like you need to come up for air so then you can go back in
Mhm.
and do what you need to do. And G sold, you know, like we donated a bunch of stuff to Naked Rebellion that's taking stuff down there. And I might run to LA. Maybe you'll come too because it might be after the wedding. But no, I'm just signing you up for you to
Mhm.
drive a U-Haul with me. I mean, we could do some really good content. Like I'll honk the horn, honk, honk, and we're driving this big U-Haul of anyways.
Yep.
Jess
Stay
at Naked
tuned.
Rebellion's doing all this, like she has so many donations that she's going to take out to LA and do some good in the hood. But I just feel like you need to, it needs to keep going. Like life needs to keep going.
Yeah, people have to go to work. People have to do their thing. I don't know what the plan is. I mean, are they even
Right.
close to having this under control?
I don't know. I think it was like 11% last time. And usually once it's contained at all, it's pretty quick after that. Like the
Mhm.
fires out by our house, we get fires, we get
Every
crazy
year.
fires every year. And
Every
one
year.
was we had an evacuation last summer. Like there was a freaking helicopter in our backyard spotlighting us saying, this is a green light, go evacuation. And we stayed and just monitored it. But
Is that the one when we were stuck in New York and couldn't get home?
no, that was another one.
Oh, okay.
The
Oh,
one-
yeah, there were two big ones.
Yeah.
Mhm.
The one that we were home was the one that was so close. And for some reason, my eyes were really jacked up that week. So I couldn't see how close it was. And Kelly's like, Gretchen, it's so close. My sister was like, shout out to Kelly. She's like, it's so close. I'm like, no, it just looks close. It's really far away.
She's like, no, it's close and you can't see it all. So you can't sound off on how close it is.
Your
Go
eyesight,
inside.
you can't trust your eyesight.
No.
Oh my gosh. So the other thing I've been talking to Missy about, my wild hairs that I'm getting into, is I want to do so badly a brain scan.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna do it with or without everybody. But I think that you're down, right? Ish.
Probably no.
Probably no.
Uh-uh.
Ah, all right, I'll do this.
I don't know enough about it. And you said it's expensive, so I need to
Yeah, it's
learn more.
expensive. Yeah, agreed. Okay. But I want to do this brain scan. Dr. Daniel Amen, he's like, I'm obsessed with everything, how we can like change our brain
Mhm.
and fix concussions, PTSD. Like, but these scans like actually show where that stuff lives in your brain. And through supplements and all the other like mindfulness and eating right and all of this stuff, like you can actually change the neuroplasticity of your brain. And
How does it show up? Does it show up differently on the scan?
yeah, like a healthy brain is smooth and the colors don't matter that much. And this is all per the podcast that I listen to. This is not my own information. It will be once I become a doctor though. But it's like the bumpiness, the more bumps, the more jacked up you are.
Oh,
I would do anything to have my pre-sobriety brain and then my brain now and then my brain once I stop drinking Red Bull and sugar because that's like an eating sugar.
is that a goal?
That's a goal. No Red Bull, right? But I mean, it's far off.
Okay.
It's
I was going
totally
to say, I'm going to need to mentally prepare for this because, like, I can't be slamming bowls in front of you if you're not partaking. That would
Right.
not be cool.
I love you for that. You're such a good support system.
Thank you.
But I DM'd Dr. Amen.
Oh, no. Here we go. She loves to slide into a DM.
If you guys knew how many celebrity big name people that I have DM'd,
Give me a couple.
Chris Paul, when he wasn't playing well, he's a Suns basketball player. I could feel him. And the way that he was playing basketball, I'm like, something ain't right. So I asked him if I could do a session.
No.
Oh, man. I didn't get a response, but I was
That's
like,
shocking.
I was like, he's a vegan. He'll be into this because he's vegan. Who else? Oh my gosh. A couple of different football players. I think I've texted maybe a Kardashian, I'm not sure, or messaged.
Mm.
I'll go back. I know I've DM'd Paige and Morgan.
Mm-hmm. They're like Bravo people.
Paige actually responded ish.
Really?
Yeah, she like did a heart.
Wow. So she read it.
Yeah.
What did you say to Paige?
Well, I was being creepy again.
No.
And it was one of the photoshops that I photoshopped myself in bed with her, Craig, and
Oh, you went there right off the bat. I thought you were like, I sent her some encouraging words.
oh no, it was
Mm-mm.
I photoshopped myself into one of the pictures.
Bitchin'. Bitchin'.
So
She hearted it, so that's a win.
stay tuned for the brain scan. It's going to happen sooner than later. I promised myself I wouldn't get any other big purchases until I get my brain scanned. So it's exciting.
I feel like a lot of these decisions impact me and we're not discussing because making big purchases together is like not to be traumatic, but it's like one of our things. Like
No,
okay. So when are you going to get the brain scan? So we
maybe
can get back
June.
to
Maybe June. But the only reason I want to get it in June is because I want my sister to get a brain scan too. That girl, Kelly's had a bunch of concussions. And I
Mm,
think that that leads to like her anxiety and her depression and stuff.
mm,
I'm not calling her out. This is a known thing. I'm not
yeah,
airing her dirty laundry,
right.
hopefully. She takes it that way.
Maybe. And don't they give you a discount for doing
Yes.
couples?
If you do couples. So Steve has already told me he's not going to do it until he gets some solid proof that it's beneficial for me.
Uh-huh.
I'm like, okay, I can respect that. We need a new water heater or brain scan. I choose
Yeah.
I choose him to use his money on the water heater
Oh God.
because I like to, we're having this water issue in our home where like it starts off really warm, you know, the scalding of the chest. We've talked about this before.
Yeah.
But I mean, a minute into it, it's lukewarm. And it just puts me in a mood before bed that I don't really want to be in. So instead of hollering and yelling and screaming at him, because I don't want that and he doesn't deserve that, I was like, babe, I'm starting to lose my patience a teensy bit. And I'm trying to be loving and supportive, but I need a full shower of scalding hot water. And he's like, okay, I'm on it. So he's on it.
Adam likes a really hot shower as well.
I don't. How do you do that?
I don't put you in a bad mood to hurt my body in there.
But
It hurts. No, I make it just warm, like amniotic fluid, like I'm back in the like warm.
love to see little baby Missy in the womb just floating along in there.
Not like hot tub hot. I don't like a hot tub either.
I
It's
don't.
so hot and then I start to sweat.
Yeah, I agree. Or if you go in a hot tub when it's cold and then your face is freaking freezing and your body.
Wash your hair in hot water. Doesn't your head is very sensitive when it gets doused.
Yeah, I just douse it.
And
And then my like hair people have told me that that's not good for your hair. And I'm like, that's just something that
yeah, you're
I'm not going to
supposed to
turn
use
my,
cool water.
right. I'm not going to do that.
Mm,
I cannot do that.
mm.
I get too chilly,
Do you ever wash your hair separately?
like in a sink.
Like a little sprayer?
Nope, I just put on a beanie.
Oh, okay.
Lube it up with dry shampoo.
There we go.
I don't think you lube it though. So
You dust it more of.
dust it.
A spritzer.
Spritzer. What about you? I feel like I've hijacked this. I've got all my talking points done except for one. What's on your mind?
Oh, I just got a very interesting text.
Okay. Oh my gosh.
My nephew, shout out to Cole J. Brandt,
Oh, Cole.
getting married this Friday to our sweet little Jackie Rodriguez Lopez, who I love.
Adore.
And he just texted me literally right now and said, would Gretchen like to come to the wedding?
This this is funny because Steve and I are like the token new family members to Missy's family. And we went to Vegas and I was talking to Jackie, who is Missy's mom, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, that'd be so fun to have the wedding in Mexico." She's like, "You want to come?" And I'm like,
Yeah,
"Well, of course, because I want to be with you guys always." And then I just and mind you, I had just met Cole and Jackie,
right.
and now we're invited.
Well, I wonder what wedding he's talking about because there's one this Friday. They have to have a civil ceremony in the States
Mhm.
before they can go have their church wedding in Mexico.
Mhm.
So let me clarify here.
Okay, that's so funny. I love them.
This one or Mexico?
Where's in Mexico?
We'll see what he says.
I love them.
Anyways, that's exciting. I can't wait to watch that little nephew of mine exchange vows.
He's a funny fella.
He is a funny fella, but they're so perfect for each other. They
Agree.
are hilarious together. Oh, he responded.
Can we tell the story about
Friday this week. Are you in or are you out? It's
well,
at 3:30
weirdly enough, I have it in my planner.
on Friday, 3:30.
Let me think about it offline.
Okay. Can you get me an answer by the end of the day?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Okay. So can we tell the funny story about Cole and Jackie in Vegas?
Which one?
Or is that off limits? When they went to the club?
Oh, that's not widely known.
Okay. So that's for another day. Another day, another story. What stays in Vegas happens in Vegas, or what happens
Happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. Can we talk about your Instagram hoax?
Oh,
Instagram hoax post?
yes.
Joke post?
My jokey hoaxy.
Yes.
So about a month ago, I got this ultrasound from a puppy that we're got the kids for Christmas. And the moment I got this ultrasound, I'm like, I'm gonna play a joke on social media that I'm pregnant because it's widely known that I have two amazing babies and that is it. And that is all. Like Steve got a vasectomy before Willa was even born when she was out of the scary phase. And so I've been waiting so patiently to get photos with our puppy to be able to play this a joke. And so I did. I put,
It's been a long con,
oh my gosh, it's
ladies
been
and gentlemen.
so long. So I started off with the ultrasound and then I'm like, the kids are happy. Steve's trying to remain calm. And at the end, it's like, surprise, it's a boy. And then we show the little puppy. But turns out people don't watch the whole things and videos.
Well, I'm like, who has an ultrasound from a dog? Like the ultrasound was super like convinced, like what the baby.
Right, right. So we got so many text messages. Steve probably got like 7 text messages saying, but the vibe around it was so funny. It was like, well, bro, man, you can do it. Or like another one of his friends was like, well, at least Maddox will have somebody to wakeboard with. There was like a whole crummy around it because Steve's like 47 and I'm 40 and but I was laughing so hard because people would text message me. I'm like, just watch the rest of the video. It's a puppy.
And she didn't tell me she was going to do this. Normally we tell each other all the things before we do them. So this was her private little prank.
Didn't I tell you from the beginning that I was gonna do it? What? Oh, you're kidding.
No, I saw this with the Gen Pop.
Stop.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought I told you. Like, I'm gonna do this funny little thing.
No.
Oh my gosh.
So I'm watching this and I'm like, ultrasound. I was like, what the and I keep watching it. And I was like, oh no, it has to be a joke. Because I know she's on her period. She's always on her period. And it's like a joke always comes up because because of a medical condition, once I was done having children, had a hysterectomy. So I do not have to deal with periods anymore. It's the best thing ever. I kind of like forgot about them, and we'll be out and she'll be like, oh man, I just need a tampon. Oh, I'm like, oh, it's your period again? I'm like a douchey boyfriend that thinks that it's like a choice. Like, oh,
It's so funny.
you're on your period again?
Again.
You just had it.
I love that you knew that I was on it. Like, so that's
I always know.
that shows a closeness of us.
But I still have my ovaries, so I still like have cycles. Just nothing happens.
Yeah.
So I feel like we've synced up because when she's PMSing, I will still like PMS and like go through the whole thing and break out and all the stuff.
Right.
And it's just like a running joke now.
Do you find it nice though? Because I'm on my period, so then I wasn't being a lunatic, I was just PMSing.
Yeah. It's validating.
Yeah. We get to do it together.
It's a handy little tool.
It is.
Unfortunately, you're the one has the blood on their hands.
All the issues.
The literal blood on your hand.
Every single time I go into my box of tampons and I grab like 10 of them and I put it in my purse, I always think of Missy being like, when did you go through my purse that one time? And you're like,
getting your phone or something to open your car.
Mm-hmm.
And there was this just like obscenely capacious amount of tampons. I'm pretty sure that's the right word, but I'm not 100% sure. It was a fatty stack of tamps. And I'm like, girl, your flow's that heavy. You got to look into getting the old hysterecto because this is like, it's for no reason.
If I could get that surgery and be guaranteed that I wouldn't become a lunatic or it wouldn't hurt being my highest self in life. Because I also think that if I got
how powerful you'd be if you didn't bleed.
But in the yogi world, they like people really think that the bleeding part is like our most powerful.
Oh, so I'm damaged goods.
No, I was wondering when that was gonna come. Right when I said my highest self, I thought that was gonna come.
Now I'm just some bottom feeder without a Yudi.
Stop. But I do dream of that. I do dream of that. And then even when they were fixing me up, stitching me up, it doesn't matter, Gretchen. The last time when I had Willa, I was like, wow, you're down there. Could you just rip some of those things out of there that you don't
Yeah.
need to?
Yeah.
But I'll deal with it. And I've done the math, and I think I've got about 10 years left before pretty many. And then we'll just go through menopause.
Sure.
That'll be awesome.
You know, there won't be any like clear sign of that for me. So it'll be like a phantom thing that happens. So I
Mhm.
think it'll be less traumatic.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I'll be so psyched. I'll be so pumped up when that happens that I'll be able to flow through it easily. At least that's what we're going for. Flow.
No pun intended.
No pun intended.
Yeah. So I wish your period would stop, but it's whatever.
I wish it would too.
What was I gonna say? What else is on our list to talk about? Because I mean, I could talk about periods all the time.
Any of our male listeners have probably tuned out.
No, they need to get comfortable with it. I think we should destigmatize it. It's not fair. It's not some dirty little secret. Like it's,
Agreed.
it's how life is made. Like get over it.
Does Adam buy, oh, you don't have a fucking period? I can't even
See?
ask that question. So Adam doesn't even have to buy you accoutrement.
But I mean, we've been together 20 years. Like he has.
Right.
He would
Yeah.
for me. He doesn't care. He's not insecure about his manhood or anything like that. Like he doesn't.
He's not worried that the checkout person thinks that they're his tampons that
No.
shoves up his butt.
No, not a concern. Have you heard this thing kids do with
Oh no.
the vodka tamps?
Oh, yes, I heard somebody died.
Yeah,
doing
because
it.
they overdose because they soak them in vodka and then put them in their bodies, and then they get all hammered drunk, and then it's like too much, and you can't expel it like you could, I guess, when people like throw up when they drink too much or
Oh.
whatever. It's just there, so they get alcohol poisoning. It's very dangerous. You ever worry about fentanyl? Nope, nope, nope. You gotta worry about those vodka soaked tamps.
You know what I'm going to say to that?
What?
Lightweights. Lightweights.
So true.
If you like a tampon is this big, it can't hold. Let's look. We can Google it. We'll Google it. How much liquid does a
Perhaps
tampon
it has
hold?
to do with the rate of absorption
Maybe.
being different in a stomach.
Yeah. We're gonna have to do some real research on this one because I don't see, and I also don't see how it goes up after expansion.
It's absorbed directly into your bloodstream.
But like you dip it and it starts to expand, how do you shove it up there?
Well, you gotta.
You don't have the applicator
Yeah.
anymore. Really got to shove it up there.
Yeah, those are the ones with the applicator free.
People really want it. If I would just put it in my mouth, or if you really want to get crazy, like my head is too much. I was just gonna say put it in an IV and shove it in your veins, but that's not good either.
No.
Please don't do this, children.
No, don't do any of these
Don't
things.
do
Just
it.
avoid it altogether.
Don't just drink water. Drink
But
water and
I
meditate.
like to learn and know about like weird stuff, like
Mhm.
absurdities. And
Yeah.
I have another funny story. Do you
Okay.
know what I'm going to talk about? right now?
No, I don't think so.
So the other day we were supposed to be having a meeting, and it just turned into me laying on the floor in a blanket, and we were just laying there on our doing nothing.
no, shame. You know what it is.
And so my feed, I guess you could call it quite eclectic,
A little bit.
bordering on the bizarre. And so I see some weird stuff come up because I have this fascination with nature's oddities.
Nice way to put it.
A la Siamese twins. Very into. Birth defects.
Oh,
Very interested. I think that it's fascinating.
Yeah.
So we're laying there and she's doing something productive. I don't know, you're like posting or something, and I'm just looking at all my weird shit come up. And so it had this post of the world's tiniest woman who I'm quite familiar with. She's from India. She's delightful. Oh, I just love her. And then she meets the world's tallest woman who I had never seen before, but she's like 7 foot something tall. And I'm like, Gretchen, look at the tiny girl meeting the really tall girl. And this juxtaposition hit her like a thunderclap. And she was like, it was too much. And it completely bombarded her senses and overwhelmed her to a point where she had this physical reaction to the image. And I was also very intrigued by that.
I had to do a somatic shake to get it out of my body.
She did because was it just the
It's the little one.
contrast?
It was the little one.
It's the little one.
It was like not, it was scary because it wasn't real, but it was
She
real.
is real.
Right.
And then I was like, I upset her even more. I go, I just want to pick her up and hold her. And you're like, no.
And like the way, I sound like such an asshole. Like the way that her mouth moved, like that's what I saw. It went directly to her tiny little face with her tiny, and she was sitting like she was standing on a table, like she was that tiny. And I love her for
Find the
living her
picture.
life, like turning her pain into purpose. But I'm like, dear God, I can't.
She's
cannot.
so cute and she's so precious. And it's just so funny because when you do see her next to an average sized person, it's jarring. But then when stand her next to this woman who's exceptionally tall, it's just like you have to think, wow, they're the same species. I love when you
Right.
see two so different. It's like you got a big Great Dane
Mhm.
next to a Chihuahua.
A Chihuahua.
I'd like to see that. I don't know why. It just
Talk about them mating. Like big dogs mate with little dogs all the
disgusting.
time. How does that happen?
I don't know. You
Poor
know what
little
else I like
dogs,
talking about?
unless the boy dog is the little dog.
Speaking of mating, I like hybrids in nature. And did you know that oftentimes they can't reproduce?
Mm.
So we're talking a liger,
Mhm.
lion mixed with tiger.
Yeah.
Also a tigan.
Mm-hmm.
And it depends on which one's the mother versus the father.
Mhm.
Tiger mixed with lion.
Mhm.
But did you know that mules, so a mule is a donkey mixed with a horse, they're exceptionally strong. They always have a superpower.
Mm-hmm. 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 Mm-hmm.
They are sterile.
Oh no. So like that's it. They
Which-
breed, you make a mule, and then you're toast.
Is leading me to a conversation I swore I would never subject anybody to besides my husband.
Bring it. Bring it.
Apes and humans. I'm sorry. Like,
Oh, getting down?
I mean, like something could be more.
Whoa.
If it happens with close genetic
Gotcha. Like a
relatives,
superhuman if we breeded with.
or like, is it possible? I don't know what it would be a monstrosity, obviously, but like, I think it could happen. And then if it could, has it?
Well, that's the thing right there. Weird people do weird things.
Like,
And
is there some secret, like half chimp,
habitat.
half human, locked in a basement somewhere?
Yes.
I think so too.
Yeah. I don't think that I don't, as much as you hesitated to say that, I'm with you.
Okay. But I just,
Diddy probably runs it.
right. Right.
Or like Elon Musk.
Yeah. And he's training it to be like a soldier or something that,
Right. Like he makes the robots, and then this ape man is going to now come and save the day from
Yeah.
Elon's robots. And
Yeah.
then he gets to be the hero again.
yeah. But like, it's really cool. Have you ever seen a liger? They're freakishly big. They always
Are
have
they
a
real?
weird superpower. Yes.
Oh, I thought that was only in Napoleon Dynamite.
No, they're real.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I don't mind animal hybrids like that. I'm into that, or like how a tree mates with another tree. Like I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
But like the other oddities are just a little bit too funky for me. Little too.
What is your reaction to a Siamese twin?
Oh.
Is it this similar to the tiny woman?
Here's where it ultimately goes. I don't want to offend by staring. So I
Mm.
don't stare. And then I think, but I don't want them to think that I'm ignoring them or they don't exist. So I
Mhm.
am so in my head with where to stare, how to look at them, how to do it right,
Yeah.
how to like be appropriate in
Yeah.
a situation that it's like too much for me.
Okay. I could understand that being very anxious around not wanting to make them feel bad about something they are not in control of.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yesterday we were at Black Rock and I saw a little person
Mhm.
and I'm like, okay, Willa, of course, is a 4-year-old
Yeah.
and isn't aware of it and stares. And then I don't necessarily stare, but I look to make eye contact so I can smile. But then I'm like, she probably thinks that I'm weird. And then she's self-conscious. So all the things, oh my God, Missy, it's the mouth. So she just showed me the photo. Oh,
I'm holding it up.
it's too much for me. It's, she is cute. And so for all the people that is not watching this on YouTube, Missy's showing me the large person and the mini person that gives me a visceral response to it.
I bet she's just light as a feather.
Except for those teeth.
Oh. I love that she wears like red lipstick and does like a full. She
Totally.
has all her outfits custom made and she wears
She
all her
have to.
jewelry and she's so cute.
Maybe I
Slay,
need to-
tiny queen.
I agree with that.
Okay, anyway, sorry.
I agree with that. I need to maybe dive in more so I get more comfortable being uncomfortable.
You know
with
what I
that.
say? Exposure therapy. We're just gonna stare at it
Right?
for hours
Just kidding. I
until
forget
you
what I
don't
was-
have a response. Oh, Willow with the LP.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So that's what we experienced yesterday. And so ultimately I just went outside and was in
What'd
my
you say
head
to her about it?
It didn't come up past what because I just watched her and what she was going to do. I didn't know if she was going to point. I didn't know if she was going to need, but I was ready to, of course, it's me just taking it too far, being creepy. I was ready to go up to the young lady and be like, "Hey, can you talk to my daughter a little bit about what's going down and where like what why you're so tiny?" You know, is that just so like you can so it can be out in the open and then they can learn and then the other um young lady could be seen and not be made to be like invisible or joke or but yeah, that kind of stuff makes me uncomfortable just because I don't want to hurt people.
She actually has a different kind of dwarfism than what I thought. I thought she was she had primordial dwarfism, but it's something else. It's not achondroplasia. It's a different, I don't know. But anyways, I like to really just keep my hand on the pulse of you know, these kinds of things.
But let's keep our eyes open for that orangutan human mix. What kind of sicko would have to go down that? I mean, that is what's the
Happens every day. I don't know that it does, but it's not too far, I think. Out of, is
zoophilia? That's what it's called
that what it's called?
when you mate with animals.
Oh, I thought it was bestiality.
I think that's the non-political.
Okay. Okay.
I don't know why. I think I may have done a report on this
Seriously?
on zoophilia.
Why don't you share that with me? Just send it over. Just kidding,
Oh my God.
but not really.
Okay. Should we?
Sorry, here I go again. Blah blah blah. Weird, weird, weird. Can't help it though.
You're weird, but I'm creepy. I don't know which. I don't know. Maybe that's why we're a good pair.
Well, you're the creep to my weirdo.
So here's another thing to ponder before we wrap it up today. Your parents are still together.
Mm-hmm.
My parents are divorced.
Yes.
What is your take on the old concept of stay together for the kids or get divorced for the because you're unhappy?
Do you hear Jessica Simpson's getting divorced? There's been like 4 major ones
Oh,
this
really?
year so far.
Mm-mm.
I don't know if people are just waiting until after the holidays to announce or what the deal is, but it's like, whoa. I think it depends on the reason for the separation.
Yeah.
Or potential separation.
Okay.
I think if you're with somebody and they are harming you or the children, I think you need to get out of there.
Right.
I think if you're with somebody and you just have grown apart or you're just not in love anymore, that's too bad.
Right.
I think you should figure it out.
Right. Work harder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think everybody deserves to be happy and stuff, but like at what cost?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the kids probably can't tell that you guys aren't crazy for each other anymore. All they know is they have a mom and dad at home, and assuming everything else is healthy and fine, like
Mhm.
imagine the amount of disrupt
Right.
to them. Just so you could feel
Right.
that little butterfly. Like,
Totally.
sorry.
There's this ACE score, this ACE test for trauma that Dr.
Mhm.
Daniel Amen, I mean, it's worldwide. Like you can do it online. But one of the facets, it's like 10 questions, and if you score like 3 out of 10, you have trauma.
Mhm.
And one of them is your parents got divorced.
Mhm.
And so I look at my parents and they needed to get a divorce.
Mhm.
They really, really did. The pickle that I wish that they could have figured out together is how to co-parent,
Mhm.
like how to do it and not despise each other. And one would say what I tried, and the other one would say I tried this and I tried that, and it's your mom's fault, it's your dad's fault, all this stuff. But either way, figure it out
Yeah.
and be able to be there in a joint capacity where you guys don't have to be together. I get that it's not a healthy thing for you two,
Mhm.
but like don't make it the kids' issue that you guys can't figure out your lives.
Mhm.
You know? Like
Yeah.
that's where it starts to get really sad for me. And any parents that I ever see that co-parent well together, I praise them
Mhm.
because it takes a lot. And I understand that it would take a lot to co-parent like that.
Mhm.
But it's it's not your kid's fault.
Right.
And you're making it their fault by being buttholes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just think that also there's like a level of you think you should just kind of suck it up.
Yeah. There's cycles in marriages too. And it's
It's not always, and I think people underestimate how difficult having children is.
totally.
I think people really, and I think people that were probably happy before,
Mhm.
I could see a big percentage of marriages really struggling after having a child where before they didn't,
Yeah.
because it's so hard
Yeah.
and it's so, um, especially in the beginning when they're first born and all this stuff. And like, and that's assuming that you have a healthy child. Like
Right.
if you throw in complications, um, around like, if your child is sick or it's just like, it's a whole level of complexity and intense emotions
Mhm.
because the love most parents have for their children is so strong. So then you have to balance that with the love you have for your partner,
Totally.
and the dynamic of your family is completely thrown up on end.
Mhm.
So I think it takes a really, really strong foundation and a strong foundation of friendship with your partner,
Right.
because there's going to be weeks and months at a time where you're just like roommates.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah. 100%.
you're just like a team
Mhm.
and you're working
Mhm.
to keep this little person alive.
Right.
And so I think a lot of people are just like, oh, we lost the magic. It's like, well, yeah, for a little while. But if you have that strong foundation, knowing that like once this is over, or once we get through whatever, like if you know that that's always going to be there, you can just kind of put it on ice for a while and
Mhm.
do what you need to do.
Mhm.
I think that that will help you get back to a place where you're going on dates and you're all giddy for each other and whatever. But like a lot of people have kids that I think should not.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. For sure. Steve always says that you should at least have $10,000 in the bank before you're even allowed to think about having a baby.
Oh, expensive. So expensive.
It's
So
expensive.
then you have the strain, the financial
Right.
strain
Hmm.
on top of that,
Right.
and the constant pressure to be a good parent. Because I
Mhm.
think most people want to be good parents
Yeah.
and take care of their kids.
Yeah.
So
And they
it's
also don't
just
have the upbringing or the foundation from their parents to allow them to be
right.
good parents.
Yeah, the people that have really done it and done it well, uh, and got their kids into adulthood
Mhm.
is so small.
Yeah.
So having somebody who's a good example that can not only show you like how to do it, but that it can be done,
Hmm.
and not just, walk away or throw their hands up and say this
Right.
is too hard is it just seems like the odds are stacked against you. So
Yeah.
you have to have a really strong um truth pillar
Hmm.
to, you know, No, like no matter what happens, no matter what, we're gonna be here for each other and we're gonna see this through. Like,
Right. And do the work yourself. Like I
Mhm.
think that I'm so grateful for everything I've gone through because it has made me a solid mom.
Yeah.
I can see when I start to do the things that were done to me, to my kids, and I get this ick feeling and I retract and I apologize and I make it better, right? The other part that I think is so important to realize too, and we kind of already touched on it a teensy bit, was like the cycles of marriage. Like Steve and I got together and it was like I walked on water. He looked at me like I was Queen Sheba. I could do no wrong. And then kids, addiction, all the stuff hit. And he lost that look on me. Like he didn't
Mhm.
look at me the same. And it was so devastating to me, Missy. Like it
Mhm.
was so heartbreaking to me.
Yeah.
And so I go to talk about it in therapy and I go through, I process it. And I had to grieve the loss of that version of us
Right.
so I could grow into our new chapter of what we looked like. And then lo and behold, I got good at being here in this new acceptance of where we were at. And we're raising kids and we're starting businesses and we were in the thick of it.
Mhm.
And now he looks at me like I walk on water,
Mhm.
like I'm Queen Sheba. And that feeling is back, but it's even more evolved because we have all this other goodness of like foundation building stuff. Like we've overcome all of this and
Yeah.
we still get this. But I'm sure there'll be another cycle where he's like,
Mhm.
"You're annoying, get away from me," type.
Definitely. Yeah, there's ebbs and flows in marriages and but yeah, when you think about all the history, you know, I feel like we just started dating. Like I
Mhm.
can't believe we've been together 20 years, like 20
Totally.
years.
To say you can do anything for 20 years is quite crazy.
That's a long time.
Yeah.
And just the amount of history you have together. Like we've been with each other over half our lives.
Yeah. It's a long time.
That's a long time.
Hmm.
And they're not going to be perfect and there's going to be good years and bad years and this and that, but like I'm just glad that I picked the right person.
Same. Yeah.
And not everybody's that lucky. And I met my person real young.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, what if I didn't meet him
And you knew
until,
too. Like you knew without a shadow of doubt, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And
Mhm.
I think about like people like my sister Amy who didn't meet her person. Like, Kristen is her person
Yeah.
until she had kissed, terrible frogs. And
Mhm.
like, I just
Mhm.
wish for her that she could have met him, but he had to go through his journey and she had to go through her journey.
Totally.
And I do think that I think that there's someone, I don't know if there's like one soulmate or whatever, but I think that there's people that are, you could find the one
Right.
in this life.
Heck yeah.
And I think if something happens to take away you're the one, I
Mhm.
think you could find another the one.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like
Mhm. I do.
I think there's always somebody for you. There's always the right person for you at
Mhm.
any point in time. And if
Yeah.
you don't have them right now, it's like, I still believe that they're out there.
Yeah.
Like I have some I know some single people and they're always like, I'm just gonna give up. I'm just gonna stop
Mhm.
dating. It's too
Mhm.
hard, especially out there with the apps and everything
Mhm.
like that.
Mhm.
And it's just like, then stop.
Right.
You could still meet people in real life.
Right. Like all of us did back
Just
in the
worry
day.
about yourself,
Yeah.
doing things that make you happy. Maybe try a couple new things.
Mhm.
Go about your life. You never know where you're going to meet this person.
100%.
You never know.
Yeah.
And they'll come
Yeah.
when they're supposed to come. I believe that.
Totally. That's how I met Steve.
Yeah.
I just came out of getting punched in the face from a relationship, like cheated on, all of this stuff. And I said, I'm done. It is just me. I'm just gonna hang out with me. That's it. No dudes. And then 2 months later,
Hmm.
Mr. Blue Eyes walked into the door. And I'm like, ah, man, thought I wasn't ready for this.
Yeah.
But then he just turned out to be so freaking phenomenal and he just kept making me laugh and all the good stuff. And
Hmm.
but I believe too, I mean, it's the open palm adage
Yeah.
that like if you're sitting here like this, gripping into it, trying to make it happen, wishing, like you're just repelling
Yeah.
it, or you're attracting people that are that desperate as well.
Yeah.
Open your hands and it will come to you.
Hmm.
It really
Yeah.
will.
That's probably the most like who I am about anything is I do think that
Mhm.
really.
Mhm.
Because you know me, normally I'm like,
I think that you're a little more woohoo than you allow yourself
I
to
think
be.
maybe I am. But I don't know. That's also coming from a place of privilege because I did find my person when I was
Yeah.
19 years old. You know
Right.
what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
not everybody's that lucky, and I get that.
Mhm.
But also, it's challenging
Mhm.
because you have to grow up together. It's
Right.
not like if I met somebody right now, like I'm very secure in who I am.
Mhm.
I know who I am. I don't feel, like me dating right now versus me dating when I was like 19.
Yeah.
I had to go through a lot.
Mhm.
So there's pros and cons to both sides of it, I think,
Agreed. Do you think that part of here, like the Dharma piece coming, I tell Steve this a lot. Like, I believe that we got Adam and Steve because that's part of their Dharma to help us get better, to hold
Mm,
space for us to be our full selves and to like, there is a very, very good chance, not to be morbid and not to be like, oh, poor pitiful wretch, like that I would be dead
mhm.
without Steve. Like it gets that real for me.
Yeah.
And I look at Sawyer and I'm like, God, Sawyer, you've already accomplished so much. Like you helped save mommy.
Yeah.
And Steve too, he's like, well, what's it all worth? I'm like, you saved my life.
Yeah.
Like you can just hang that on your
Sure.
hang that on your coat rack. And you
Yeah.
never
Yeah.
feel bad. But I think that that's part of their purpose on the planet is to deal with us.
Yeah, probably.
And I'm sure he was like a great support too for you when
Mhm.
you were figuring out your stuff.
Yeah. And and vice versa.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think we've both shown our men a lot,
Big time.
you know?
Yeah. Big time.
I don't know. I'm just thankful.
Yeah, me too. Me too. Let's look at here. One last little thing. Um, on the I didn't know when I was reading my show notes there, I didn't know what small and large lady meant until
I remembered.
you remembered.
Of course, I remembered.
Um, Bop, 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 bop.
Just a shout out to number 87. My precious Taylor's gentleman caller. This shirt's for those of you who are just listening. I'm wearing a red jersey-esque kind of t-shirt with the number 87 for Travis Kelce. So
Yeah.
I mean, like, not to like infringe on, like in support of, you know what I mean?
We were out vintage shopping and Missy found, correct me if I'm hijacked, like I'm not telling the story right. She found a Travis Kelce jersey and she's like, what if I meet Taylor Swift? I'm wearing this jersey and she thinks that I'm trying to steal her husband
Yeah,
or her man.
it's a real concern.
And I'm
It wasn't even a Kelsey jersey. It was like a
Chiefs.
like an old high school practice jersey that happened to be Chiefs colors and his number.
Oh,
So it wasn't even like an officially sanctioned Chiefs jersey. But if it was me and I was out and about and some broad came up wearing my man stuff, I'd be like, no.
you
But that's
so
not
funny.
Taylor, if you're listening. As if
She
Taylor,
knows.
if you're listening, it's because I ship so hard for you and Trav.
Yeah.
I also have shirts of you that I wear.
Yep.
And I'll wear one on the next episode
Yep.
to show that I ship equally
Yes.
for both of you.
I want you to take that off your stress plate. This is your
Yeah.
goal for your mindful goal.
Mhm.
You can wear whatever jersey without worrying about Taylor being upset with you because she
Okay.
will not be upset with you.
I know she's understanding.
She is, and she loves you and she loves your love. She gets it.
Okay. Of
And
course
she'll
she does. Of course she does. I'm being so
I
silly.
know you're being very
So
silly.
you got to
but-
trust your faves. I trust her.
I love you, Taylor.
I love you, Taylor.
Oh, this is one last thing, and then I'll be done. Willa, talking still on the Taylor Swift thing. So she was talking with one of the girls in her class, and the girls in her class loves Taylor Swift. And Willa does anything her brother does. And so Willa, in the middle of her class, with all these little Taylor Swifties in her pre-K class, goes, I hate Taylor Swift.
What? Willa said that?
Yes.
Right.
And I go, don't you let your Aunt Missy hear that.
Oh man.
I thought that was funny. She marches to the
Yikes.
beat of her own drum or to the beat of her brother's drum.
Well, that's going to be problematic for dance tonight because they dance exclusively to Taylor Swift. Like, was it real or was she just being defiant?
It's defiant, I'm sure.
Okay.
She probably doesn't even know what the music is. I guarantee that.
Okay. Because Willa is joining, she's accompanying Peyton to her dance class tonight. And
Mhm.
I have, I can tell you firsthand, there's a lot of Taylor Swift bumping in that studio.
Yeah.
They're shaking it off.
The only thing that she's gonna have an issue with is the ponytail.
She has to wear her in a bun.
Yeah.
Will she let me do it?
Probably better than if I did it.
Okay.
Yeah. And if Peyton has it, then Willow will be fine with it.
Okay. Well, we'll report back on how that went.
All right. That's a wrap.
That's a wrap.
That was a lot.
Okay, peace out.